I want to move on to the next slide, and slide 11 talks about pocket money or allowances. The question is this: we all, as parents and those who know children, want those children to be happy and healthy and successful. We want them to exploit their talents, and we want them to be economically literate. We want them to earn money and use money sensibly. The question is how we do it. How do we bring up our children to teach them about money, teach them about work, teach them about values? So the question is, how do you do this? Well, this is what happens in the West. The question is, when do you start a pocket money system? A pocket money system usually begins like this: once a week, usually on a Friday or Saturday, you give children a certain amount of money. At the moment, the average British child will be getting somewhere in the region of £5, $8 a week. You then agree with the child what this is and what it is for. You might agree with the child that it's related to things. Maybe they've got to keep their room clean, that they can buy things and not other things, and that as you get older, you get more money, and you get advice from the parents about how to do this. What we are trying to do is to teach children to be sensible, and there are rules associated with this. So let me look at slide 12. Slide 12 is the advice of an American woman banker who started a bank and tried to give advice to children. The advice is to try and encourage children to be sensible about their money. So she says, get your child a social security number. Social security is a state number which registers them with the state. She says, make a will and name a guardian. So this is a thing to do for your children, to make a will in case you get killed. She says, have enough insurance. Start saving for college. Talk about money to your children. Don't hide this fact. Take them to the supermarket. Discuss the price of things. Discuss why you're buying this and why you're not buying that. Discuss how you have money saved or not saved. Revise your will and other beneficiaries Revise your will and other beneficiary arrangements. In other words, change as times change. Talk about the money. Save for your early retirement. Give some money to your children. Spend some money on yourself. These are things to do for yourself and your children, but the advice is always the same. Talk about money openly with your children. Don't use it as a weapon. Don't withdraw the money for emotional reasons. Teach children to become rational and successful with money, how to spend it, how to save it. In the playground, children borrow money and they save money and they make money, and that's very, very healthy. Adults do well to socialize their children into learning how to deal with money. Okay, I want to slow down and deal with the most important issue in this topic. This slide 13 is the most important slide. We're now going to look at money at work. We're going to look at the question of satisfaction with money, how much you should pay people, whether money is a motivator. People say you get monkeys if you pay people peanuts. The idea is that there's a close relationship between money and satisfaction and money and productivity. I ask you this question. If your income was increased by 25% next month, would your productivity go up by 25%? Would your productivity stay up 25%? Is there any correlation between, would you be 25% happier with this increase? What is the relationship between money and happiness and money and productivity? And the psychological argument goes like this. Money is a very powerful demotivator. Why? Why does it not work? If you pay people equitably, what does equitably mean? It means pay them fairly. The most important word that people use in the workplace is fair. Is it fair how much money I get paid, given how hard I work? Is it fair that I get paid this relative to other people? If they believe they are not fairly paid, they do something about it. They have a number of options. Option number one, they work less hard. Option number two, they leave. Option number three, they ask for more money. Option number four, they steal goods and they steal time. What people are trying to do is to say, I give this, I get that. Is it fair? You give me less, I do less. You give me more, I do more. Trying to make it, in some senses, fair. The question becomes what people do if they feel unfairly paid. But of course, pay is not our only outcome, not our only reward. I am a university professor. I have been offered jobs with 4 times my salary. I have been offered jobs where I could earn 4 times how much I am earning. I have turned these jobs down. Why? Because I have other benefits from my work. I have autonomy. When I work, where I work, how I work is up to me. I am an academic. I have that choice. For me, that is important. It's more important than the money. So money is just one characteristic. But the real important issue is this. Why is money such a powerful and often negative force? There are 4 explanations. Number 1, adaptation. We are, all of us, probably richer than we were last year. We might be, or certainly richer than we were a few years ago. We get richer as we get older. Do we get happier? Do we get more satisfied? The trouble with money is you adapt to it very quickly. Make people a millionaire. They're very happy to be a millionaire, but it doesn't last very long. Money has a very short-term effect. The problem then is you need a lot of money if you want to continue this effect. Money doesn't last as a tool to increase happiness or productivity. You need to do it all the time. You need to give people more and more, which most organizations simply can't do. The second is the most important point, and it's the idea of social comparison. What single fact makes people satisfied with their salary, makes people most satisfied with their salary? How much they earn? No. How much they earn relative to other people. That is the issue. Not how much you get absolutely, how much you get relatively. If you want to make people angry at work, pay them differentially. People get cross about small amounts of money. 10 cents, $2, 5 rubles, not large sums of money. But if they feel it's unfairly distributed, that makes them absolutely furious. There are many strikes and many disruptions at the workplace around the issue of social comparison. Why is this group paid differently from that group? The differences might be very small, but it doesn't matter. The issue is money is easy to compare people by. If I earn 10,000 and you earn 12,000, you are getting a fifth more than me. 10,000 cents, 10,000 rubles, $10,000, 10,000 pounds, 10,000, it doesn't matter. The issue is social comparison. And as I said, what people are going to try and do is they're going to try and make things seem to be fair. They will go into a job and they will get a certain amount of money in return. You see, the problem is this. It's quite difficult to measure things other than money. Money's so easy. I get X, you get Y. I get happiness, I get respect, I get opportunities. All these things are too difficult to measure, but money is very easy to measure, and therefore it becomes the focus of so many issues, and it becomes the focus of social comparison. Now, there's a very interesting and important implication of this. It's an implication people wrestle with in the West. Should you let everybody know what everybody else is getting paid, or should you keep it a complete secret? Here are 4 opportunities. Option 1, nobody knows what anybody else is being paid. Option 2, people have wide bands. They know that I earn between X and Y and you earn between C and D. So I'm in these brackets, wide brackets. Option 3, very narrow brackets. You know that I earn between 60,000 and 80,000. You know that he earns between 100,000 and 110,000. Or make everybody know what everybody else is earning. Completely secret, completely open. Well, there are laws about this, and you will find that in many European countries that the civil service, the people who work for the government, all their salaries are known and posted on the web. In Great Britain, if you are the owner of a public company, your salary will be known. Everybody knows what the boss is earning. Exactly. It's law. The question is it a good idea? Well, in my experience, it's all very well known what the boss earns, but the question is, what is the consequence of you knowing what your colleagues are earning? The consequence is social comparison. If I know my colleague sitting in the next office from me is earning some more money than me, a little or a lot, I'm expecting that he works harder than me, that he deserves that money in some way. He works harder, he's been longer, he's more loyal. If, on the other hand, I see he does not come in as often as I do, he is not as productive as I am going to be extremely unhappy, because I know he gets more than me. Should he therefore not give more than me? The problem is that people make these comparisons all the time. You sit in the workplace, you know, I know, some people go absent. You know, I know, some people stay late. You know, I know, some people work harder, are more trustworthy. Should they be paid more? Well, the answer could be, yes, they should be paid more if you want to make it fair. But many organizations pay people by the job, not by productivity on the job. So, I am a professor. Should all professors be paid the same, irrespective of whether they are a professor of business, a professor of music, a professor of art, a professor of language? Should they be paid the same because they're professors? Should they be paid differently according to their subject? Should they be paid differently according to how many students they teach? Should they be paid differently according to how many books they write? The question becomes, what is the criteria, and what do people know? Many people's unhappiness about money is a function of social comparison. I will tell you a story about myself. A few years ago, I went to visit a colleague in America. It was a very beautiful part of America. He was a man I liked very much. I had never met him. I had read his books. He had read my books. He was about the same age as me. I have been at my university many years. I am very happy here. I like my university. I like my students. I like my department, and I'm happy with my money. When I visited him, I saw he had a different deal. He had a better quality of life than I had, and he had more money. When I came back, I was dissatisfied with my university. Nothing had changed, but I had compared myself with him. I had done social comparison. The worry about social comparison is that it can be made more easy by making things more open. People compare themselves with others. They compare how much they give and how much they get. They want to be treated fairly. Money is the easiest, crudest comparison. You have to be very careful. Intuitively, if I was a businessman or woman, I would not make it open what people earn. It only causes dissatisfaction. It is said that if things are very fair, then yes, it is a good idea to make things open. But my experience is they're not always that fair. So the issue here is a very simple but very important one. The factor that leads most often to dissatisfaction with money is not how much you get paid, how much you get paid relative to other people. The third factor in this slide is called alternatives. 2 days ago, I went to a big meeting with some business people. And I said to them, they were leaders of a bank, and I said to them, I'm going to make you an offer. I'm going to offer you $5,000 in cash or give you a week's extra holiday. Which would you like? What do you think they said? They all said holiday. So I said $6,000 or a week's extra holiday. Most of them said holiday. So I said $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 in cash. And they chose the holiday. Why? Cash rich, time poor. The average American gets 2 weeks holiday a year. The average German gets 5 weeks holiday a year. What is the point of having a lot of money if you don't have time to spend it? What's important at work? What would you trade off for money? Would you have a better job title and less money? Would you have more opportunity? Would you have flexi time or more money? What are the alternatives to money? And you will discover that as people get more money, then the alternatives become more attractive. These business people were trading off $8,000 for a week's extra holiday. In cash, that's a lot of money. But they didn't want money. After a while, it had little effect. They wanted the alternatives. They wanted time, time being more valuable than money. So people will do anything for money, but what are the alternatives? And that too is a reason why people are not always happy about their money and why it becomes a demotivator. The final factor is increased worry. People with a lot of money get concerned the government tax them very heavily. People with a lot of money get concerned they become the target of thieves. People with a lot of money buy beautiful things, but they keep them in banks to keep them safe. If you have a lot of money, you worry about that money. You get people to help you with that money. And that too might mean increased money is not that important and is not that satisfactory. So the story goes like this. Why is money not a good long-term motivator? One, people adapt to however much you pay them very quickly. Two, it's not how much you pay them, it's how much you pay them relative to other people. Three, what are the alternatives to the money that you're offering them? And four, if you give them a lot of money, will they be able to keep it? Money is very important at work. It is a motivator of considerable proportions. However, never assume it's that important. Never assume it's the only important thing, and never assume that it's going to lead logically to productivity and to satisfaction.